Welcome, New York Yankee fans. This is Ruben from NYYNEWS.com. So, I took some time and I wanted to go ahead and kind of come up with a list of some top targets the Yankees should consider. Some are obviously folks that we've already are very familiar with in terms of our own team. But we also have quite a few options outside of our team that we should consider into bringing in for 2023. Um, Granted, I don't expect all these names to be Yankees, and I'm focusing on this video in terms of the offensive players. I do have my own ideas on the pitching, but I want to focus on the offenses. That was the main issue with this Yankees team this past year. I was not high on the Yankees offense, even when we were blistering hot, winning all those games. But we won too many close games, and that to me was a red flag. Because while you do want to be tested um, in close games, and you want to be successful in those close games, um, it shouldn't have been that hard either. You gotta have a balance. We had too many close games, too many walk-offs. You would think that would bode well in the postseason, but obviously, as you can see, it didn't because we had too many guys that either underperform to the back of the baseball card, or simply are just guys that when the bright lights turn on, they just don't perform well. So, all right. So to get started with my list here, I'm gonna go ahead and name. Let's see. I have about 8 offensive players that I'm interested in. These are only free agents, so I'm not talking about trade candidates. Strictly free agency. Okay. Now, one guy that I'll start off with. Well, how about this? I'll start off with the Yankees, the free agent Yankees. So we have 3 Yankees that are going to be free agents. We have Andrew Benintendi, Anthony Rizzo, and Aaron Judge, as we all know, who just had an MVP caliber season. So we got the AAA free agents. We got Andrew, Anthony, Aaron. So, would I like to see all 3 of them back? Yes. I was looking in their numbers. Obviously, Judge, self-explanatory, played a above average center field, was 1 out above average in center, 1 defensive run saved in center. He's been a Gold Glove caliber right fielder for the Yankees for multiple years. Basically, is the MVP of this year. Lost out on the Triple Crown due to Boone not electing to have him play on the last game of the season, where he could have potentially won it. But just to give you a quick summary, Judge, 62 home runs, 311 batting average. Only guy on the team that hit 300. Well, Carpenter did, but very limited at bats. 425 on base, 686 slug, 1.111 OPS, 211 OPS plus. Obviously, this guy needs to be back. He's been basically the captain of this team, especially since Gardner and CC retired. The last 2 years, Judge has basically been a 299 batting average guy, 400 on base, 616 slugging with a 1016 OPS, averaging about 54 home runs for every 162 with 122 RBI and 99 walks. He is still a big strikeout guy. He did drop his strikeout rate. He's averaging 177 strikeouts for every 706 plate appearances. He's basically at a 25% strikeout rate. When he first came up, his first 3 years as a Yankee, he was more of a lot more of a swing and miss guy. He was about 31% strikeout guy. So Judge definitely, let's bring him back. He should be a right fielder. Should be a career Yankee. Since 2017, he's been hitting 287, averaging 50 home runs for every 162 games played. And I think that's just self-explanatory. That's just me. Bring him back. Sign him back. First base, we have Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo came into the Yankees last year from the Cubs. Had amazing years with the Cubs. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of point out. So his career averages are 265, 366 on base, 481 slugging, a 47 OPS with a 127 OPS plus. Gold Glove caliber first baseman, averages 30 home runs per season and 33 doubles. Very good bat. Very low strikeout rate, especially for the modern day. He's at, for his career, for every 162 games, he averages 110 strikeouts. Now, let's go to the more recent information. The last 2 years, for every 162 games, he averages 112 strikeouts. So that's within his career. He averaged 32 home runs. Got a little boost from playing in Yankee Stadium. His doubles are down to 26 for every 162. Batting average 236. That's a major drop. Not what I expected from Anthony Rizzo, to be honest. I know he's getting older and everything, but I would have expected at least a 260 average from him. But I am high on him in terms of that the shift will be eliminated next year. He is one of the most shifted baseball players, given that he's a lefty, and they just shift on him a lot. I think they started shifting on him even more since he was playing in Yankee Stadium. He has a 341 on base, 459 slugging, 800 OPS for the last 2 years. I would say definitely bring him back. I think he's the best first base option. He's a lefty. He's a Gold Glover. We do have the option of Jose Abreu, but I really want Anthony Rizzo back. I think he would be the best choice. So bring back those two. Then we're gonna go to left field. Left field, we have two options. We can either re-sign Andrew Benintendi, who we traded for, which I think would make a lot of sense. He's a Gold Glover. He's a World Series champion, playoff proven. He's a guy that hits for a lot of contact, low strikeout rate, especially the last 2 years. He's cut down on his strikeouts. So I think that would definitely benefit us, for sure. Looking at it here, he also performs pretty decent in the playoffs. Has a 272 batting average during the playoffs. 322 on base, not a great on base, but you know what? I care more about the average during the playoffs, since on base is expected to drop for most players, given that you're facing the toughest pitching. So you need to hit. You need a higher hit tool than an on base tool by walk, since walks are going to be very limited during the postseason. So I really value his ability to hit in the postseason versus the best of the best pitching. Also, looking at Benintendi, last 2 years, he has a 289 batting average, 348 on base, 421 slugging, 770 OPS. He kind of was a mixed bag the last 2 years of different approaches. So he had a 276 average with a 324 on base in 2021. This year he had 304, 373 on base, but his slugging was down. He has 17 home runs in 134 games in 2021 with 27 doubles. But then this year he had 23 doubles and 5 home runs only in 126 games. So this year he really prioritized to get on base. I think that's going to benefit the Yankees if they get a guy that focuses on base. But if you get a mixture of those 2 years, it's a 348 on base, 289 average, 14 home runs, 31 doubles. I think being back in the AL East, he will benefit. Um, and playing one half of the games in Yankee Stadium, playing more games versus the AL East. Even though I know the schedule's changing, but I think he would benefit. I think he would get his power numbers back up, but still keep the strikeout rate low. Um, so I'm high on Andrew Benintendi. I think he should be back. I've mentioned it before to the people that have seen my channel. I've given Andrew Benintendi an Uber ride. So that's something that I would like to see is Andrew Benintendi be a Yankee for a longer term, since I've kind of have that little connection of like, dang, I picked up this dude during spring training. So Benintendi should definitely be re-signed. But and then also he has 108 strikeouts for every 162. That's a very low strikeout rate um, for the modern day. So that's one of the biggest reasons. He's a high contact guy. We extremely missed him in the postseason. Now, I'm going to give you a second option for left field. Left field, we got Brandon Nimmo of the New York Mets. Brandon Nimmo, he's an on-base machine. He has a career 385 slug on base with a 269 batting average. So he gets on base more than Benintendi. The last 3 years, Brandon Nimmo has not only lowered his strikeout rate for like the last 5 years, but the last 3 years he's definitely kept lowering it every year. This year was his best year by far in terms of health. He played 151 games. This is second most that's the most he's ever played. Second time he's been able to cross 140 or higher. All the other years he's never hit 100 games. So he's an injury risk in that aspect. So that's my only scare on Nimmo, and why I kind of prefer Benintendi more than Nimmo. But Nimmo does bring a little bit of that higher on base upside. The last 3 years he's been hitting 281 with a 384 on base, a 443 slugging, 827 OPS, 17 home runs for every 162, and 30 doubles with 86 walks. So he would be a very good add. He does strike out a tiny bit more than Benintendi at 129 for every 162 games. But the percentage of the strikeouts, it's similar, not drastic, based on the plate appearances. I do like that he succeeded in the postseason in terms of hitting. This year, in the 3 games versus the Padres, he hit 333 with a 385 on base. So he only had 1 walk in those 3 games. So as you can tell, the walks start dropping, but he was able to make up for it by hitting. So he doesn't just go out there just trying to walk. So, and he had a triple. So he's a guy that's willing to take the extra base. He averages 7 triples for every 162, so he runs hard out of the box. I really appreciate that in the player, especially given that we've had this team be very lackadaisical, not hard at running out of the box. So I would love to see somebody that runs out of the box hard. So Nimmo is my second option for left field. I think those two, Benintendi and Nimmo, have to be the left fielders. I know there's Oswaldo Cabrera. I love Cabrera, but I don't want him in left field if we have these 2 guys as an option. That's just me. Yeah, those 2 are the main ones. So that's my left field. So I got first base. You got Rizzo. Judge is gonna be in right. Then left field is either Benintendi or Nimmo. One of those 2 have to be Yankees. Nimmo's going to be tough because you're also going against the Mets on re-signing him. So that's my only thing on that. Now, I have... Oh, actually, there's 3 options for outfield. My bad. We also have Jock Peterson. Jock Peterson is not a great defender. He's about average. Left-handed bat, proven in the postseason. Last 2 years, averages about 25 home runs for every 547 plate appearances per the 162 stat. Has a 255 average, 330 on base, 799 OPS with a 469 slugging. So he has pop. He does have a higher strikeout percentage. So he does strike. He's technically a strikeout guy. But Jock Peterson is one of those strikeout guys that even though he strikes out a lot, he still hits in the postseason. And that's what we're also looking for. We want guys that can hit in the postseason. Benintendi 272 average. Nemo had 333 in his one experience. Jock Peterson 256 average. You see what I'm saying? Like, these averages aren't amazing, except for Nemo's, but that was like a short sample size. But these are guys that can hit in the postseason. We had too many guys hitting under 200 in the postseason because they were just not performers in the postseason. So, Jock Peterson has a 256 average, 332 on base, 482 slug, 814 OPS. He plays above his career. So, in terms of his career numbers, for the most part, or especially for the last 2 years that he's had. So, I think Jock Peterson would be ideal. His career average is 237 in the regular season, 256 in the postseason. This is a guy that outperforms his numbers in the postseason. We need those kind of guys that have that knack for the big hit, that knack to perform. Not just the guys that look nice in the regular season and don't perform on the off season, in the postseason. And Judge at times it kind of feels like that way. Judge doesn't have great career postseason numbers. He's had success in the postseason, but it's not consistent. Still want him back, but you get what I'm saying. We need to build around Judge, give him more opportunities. So those are my three outfielders, either Benintendi, Nemo, or Jock Peterson. Any of those three. Now Jock is more of a platoon guy, so that's my only thing is a platoon guy. So then that means you have to be switching up the lineups. So you might have to find a good righty to balance him out with. So that's that. Let's take a look. So shortstop. I don't want IKF back at shortstop. I think he needs to go. So when it comes to the shortstops, we could go with Peraza. A lot of people think Peraza is gonna be the starting shortstop. I wouldn't be upset with that. But I want to win the World Series. I want the Yankees to win the World Series. So I really think, and even though I'm not expecting this, so don't, in the comment section, like, understand, this move right here, I'm not expecting the Yankees to do this. Should they do this? Yes, they should. At least one of them. Now, the third one is going to be a little bit interesting. But I'm going to go down the list first. Shortstop, we got a decent shortstop crop this year. I'm not including Dansby Swanson. He's had playoff success, had a major improvement year on defense. I just don't like Swanson. Sorry, not sorry. He should stay in Atlanta, be an Atlanta guy, but I just don't like Swanson as a Yankee. Doesn't move me. So that's just me. So, all right, first one, Carlos Correa. I'm Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican. I love it. We haven't had Puerto Ricans on the Yankees in a long time. The last time we were heavy on the Puerto Rican side on the Yankees with Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, and Ruben Sierra. Like, we were winning World Series and go to the postseason and stuff like that. So that's just something that I just noticed. I'm just saying. But in terms of Carlos Correa, he's playoff proven. His career averages for his career is 279 average, 357 on base, 479 slugging, 836 OPS, averages 28 home runs per every full season of 162, and 34 doubles with 101 RBIs. Oh my gosh, super stud. Like superstar, you know what I mean? But I call him the Carlos Beltran of shortstops. Like, he is a very, very good offensive player. Um, just not an MVP level offensive player, which honestly we don't need. We just need guys that can perform in the postseason. This guy defensively, one of the top defensive shortstops, Gold Glover, Platinum Glove winner, has stayed healthy, relatively healthy, the last 3 years. So, and in the postseason, he hits 272, 344, 505, 849 OPS. So he performs to basically his career numbers. If anything, just hits a little bit for more power, gets on base a little bit less, which is expected. Again, this is the postseason. But his batting average is about the same, 272 versus 279. But he hits playoff pitching. He hits in the biggest moments. He's been in the World Series, 5 straight ALCSs, 3 World Series, 1 championship. I get it, 2017, they cheated, blah, blah, blah. They didn't need to cheat. That team didn't need to cheat. They had all the talent in the world. I'm sorry. That's just me. We've seen the Astros do this. They beat us this year. They swept us. And now for the cheating stuff. This guy right here has the attitude, has the confidence, has the understanding of the analytics, and knows how to implement the analytics, unlike the Yankees brass that don't know how to implement the analytics. He still implements analytics with the baseball instincts. So I think Carlos Correa should definitely be a target for the Yankees as shortstop. We're going to go next to the second option. Shortstop again, obviously. That's what we're addressing here. We can go with Trey Turner, a career 302 batting average guy, 355 on base, 487 slugging, 842 OPS, averages 36 doubles, 7 triples, 24 home runs, and 44 steals for every 162 games played. Why do I use that stat? Just to kind of give you a broad picture of what his ability is over a full season. So, and sorry, hold on. My contacts bother me, so. Looking at Trey Turner since the 2019, he has a 311 batting average for since 2019, with a 361 on base, 509 slugging, 870 OPS, 41 doubles per season, 26 home runs, and doesn't strike out a lot either. Correa strikes out a little bit more than him, but Correa performs in the postseason. Turner, on the other hand, he's won the World Series. He's a very good leadoff hitter, number 2 hitter. He's at third for the Dodgers this year. He has struggled in the postseason, where he hits 238 in the postseason, 279 on base. Not great. His numbers are really not that great in the postseason, but he's won the World Series. He hit 333 this year. Didn't walk anything, but he hit 333. I don't know what to think about Trey in terms of the postseason. He did win the World Series, but he wasn't getting on base that much. And he struggled in the World Series itself. So Trey Turner's a mixed bag when it comes to the postseason success. But he would address the leadoff hitter issue that the Yankees may have, unless if they decide going with someone else for unless they go with like a Benintendi or something if they got Correa. But Trey Turner would be a good leadoff guy to have. I think he would be a good option for sure. But postseason numbers are a little bit murky in that aspect. I don't like the way they look, but for the most part, very good player. Very good player. Very steady, consistent, high average guy. These are his batting averages for the last 4 years. 298, 335, 328, 298. Very consistent. Doesn't hit anything lower than 298. We need that. The Yankees don't hit for average. They have too many home run or bust type of guys. This guy hits doubles, triples, home runs, steals bases. He's a must for the Yankees. I'm trying to cut this video shorter. Sorry for the long video here, guys. Another guy. This is the one that I'm iffy on. He had a good defensive year at shortstop. He's not a great defensive shortstop historically. he did have a huge improvement at shortstop this year in a free agent year. He's a nemesis of ours. He hits for a great average, doubles machine, has 20 home run pop, 30 on a good year. Is a great two-strike hitter, and that's Xander Bogaerts. What are the Red Sox thinking? I don't know. Could we get him? Yes. But I don't know if Xander, maybe we can get him to play shortstop or maybe put him at third base. I don't know. But this is a guy that I'm interested in. If we can get him, if the other two are not an option, I think Xander would be a good choice. All these guys are under 30. Just saying. But Xander, since 2018, since he became Xander, like the offensive monster at shortstop, he has a 301 average since 2018, 373 on base, 508 slugging, 880 OPS, 45 doubles, 27 home runs for every 162. Doesn't strike out a ton. 125 for every 162. Not bad. And again, he improved drastically on defense this year. That helped him a lot. He's never been positive on defensive runs saved until this year. He's also rates well and outs above average. So it fixes the problem that we had, like versus IKF, who was good on defensive runs saved, but was awful and outs above average. Bogaerts was a positive on both. He's playoff proven. He's played in the AL East. His numbers in the postseason are iffy. 231 average, 309 on base, 381 slugging. So his numbers are not great in the postseason. He's been a part of World Series winners, but he doesn't really have a great history of hitting in the postseason. But he's been a part of winning. So that's got to be worth something. So those are my 3 shortstop options. And possibly third base for Xander. Correa could be a third baseman as well. So that's the interesting part. You know, we could sign these guys to be third baseman now, 2 out of the 3. And keep Peraza at short. Or, you know, trade Glaber. Put Peraza at second base, who has a great arm, is a natural fielder. I mean, having him up the middle with Carlos Correa would be great. With a Trey Turner. Those are the kind of things I'm looking at. But let me know your thoughts down below, man. I really would appreciate your guys' thoughts or takes on this, because I really do believe the Yankees are not that far off. They made a great move in getting Benintendi and Rizzo the last 2 years. I think those 2 guys are going to hit better next year, being healthy, and also with the shift being eliminated. They don't strike out a lot. You know, Nemo's another good choice. Jock Peterson might hit for a higher average as well. A guy that's been typically a higher strikeout guy, but he's had to deal with the shift. Now there's no shift. So what does that do for Jock Peterson? Does he hit more than 250? We don't know. So let me know your thoughts. Like, for real. Like, these are some quality names. I think there's a chance for any of them. Do I expect the Yankees to go big at the shortstop? I don't trust the Yankees right now. It's not the owner, in my opinion, in terms of like money wise. He spends the money. It's Cashman's trying to be the smartest guy in the room and always trying to find this under the radar deal, when sometimes you just gotta go with the obvious stuff, bro. Like, don't overthink it. Like, Cashman just overthinks. So, and sometimes you gotta stick with the baseball, bro. Baseball, you know, you can have your analytics, that's just information. But the guys that are applying it, they're not applying it in a baseball way. So, that's my message to Cashman. Michael K, I hope you hear this. But this is Ruben from NYYNEWS.com. Like, share, subscribe to the video. Let me know your thoughts. Would really like to get a conversation going and see what you guys think. Peace.